Well, good morning, everybody, as I will be posting this on New Year's Day, and a happy 2020 to everybody out there. This is the fifth and final video in my little passion project thing, I guess. I've done what I'm looking forward to next year, my least favorite movies of the year, my favorite acting performances, and a couple videos. And now I will kind of culminate everything with my favorite movies of the year. So I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. I know my other videos have been really long, and I apologize for that. I can really talk for a really long time. Um, I will try not to give away any plot points or any huge major spoilers in these movies, but I'll give my five honorable mentions, basically my 11 through 15 picks for the year, and then go down from 10 to 1 like a usual list. So I'm not going to prolong it any longer. So, my honorable mentions Dark Waters, Mark Ruffalo, Anne Hathaway, the story of the DuPont scandal. Really gripping, it really grabs you. The story grabs you. I would absolutely recommend this movie. And actually, I'm going to preface this by saying I would recommend all 15 of these movies. I mean, the fact that they're on my favorite or honorable mention is for a reason. So, Dark Waters is an honorable mention for me. The next couple movies, I really like the trilogies as a whole, and these three movies, or these final movies in these trilogies, I really enjoyed John Wick Parabellum and How to Train Your Dragon 3. Um, I have a feeling there will be a fourth John Wick movie, so at least for the time being, the trilogy is really good. And How to Train Your Dragon, that trilogy movie is very solid. Whether it's an animated trilogy or not, just this trilogy as a whole, really, really solid. So those two also honorable mentions. The movie Us with Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, and a smattering of others. Evan Alex being somebody that I think is going to be a very good actor to watch out for in the future. I uh, I think this movie was terrifying. I think this movie was interesting, and the story was very interesting. I think Jordan Peele, the director, going from Get Out to Us. I know he has a new movie coming out in 2020. I am really looking forward to see what he does going forward. He is a fantastic director. And finally, this is an honorable mention for me. I know it got a lot of hate from a lot of people. I'm a sucker for nostalgia when it comes to certain things, and The Lion King I really liked. It was gorgeous. It just brought me back to my childhood, as The Lion King is my favorite animated movie of all time. I could absolutely get the uh, the hate that it's kind of a carbon copy of the first one. The book should be prepared. Um, there's no emotion in the lions. I get all that. However, just for me personally, I really liked it. It was really enjoyable. Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen, they're whether it's ad lib or not, they brought an extra layer of humor that really, really was wonderful. So those are my honorable mentions. And for my top 10, starting with number 10, is led by somebody that I believe, if you've seen my previous videos, that should not only be nominated but win for Best Actress: Charlize Theron, John Lithgow, Nicole Kidman, Margot Robbie. It's the movie Bombshell, the story about Roger Ailes, the creator and executive of Fox News, and his story about the sexual harassment scandal that happened a few years ago. The first 5 minutes of this movie, I will say, it felt like it was going to be very documentary-ish, but once you get past the first 5-10 minutes, it's really entertaining, but not the entertaining of, oh, I had a great time. The entertaining of just a story that really grabs you, and very dramatic scenes that really, really pull you in. So for that reason, Bombshell, my 10th favorite movie of the year. Number 9 is a movie that, and all year I was looking forward to this movie. I love the premise. I loved the trailers because it felt like an Agatha Christie whodunit, and that's Knives Out. When I was a young kid, Agatha Christie, I loved reading her books, and this movie, while somewhat predictable, is really fun to see in the theater. Ana de Armas, Chris Evans, Christopher Plummer, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, um, Lakeith Stanfield, Daniel Craig. I mean, the cast is incredible. I know I'm probably even missing some, but when you have a cast like that in a very fun, clever whodunit, I knew, well, at least I didn't know, but I was really hoping that I would like it, and I really did. And it's just a fun, clever movie. I would absolutely recommend it. It is my number 9 movie of the year. Number 8 is Marriage Story. It's a movie on Netflix right now starring Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson. I know on the surface it can seem like it's just a movie, and actually I'll use a line that one of my friends said, is basically his reaction was that you can get the same feeling if somebody just shouts divorce for 2 straight hours. See, for me personally, it's a movie about what happens kind of behind the scenes when lawyers get involved and the intricate details of what happens when somebody is going through a divorce. And when lawyers get involved, it can turn really nasty for two people that really want it to be as amicable as possible. When outside parties start getting involved, it really starts to get muddled, and that's where the drama really sets in. And Scarlett Johansson gives an incredible performance. Adam Driver's very good. Laura Dern's very good. It also has Alan Alda and Ray Liotta as lawyers as well. And as I mentioned to one of my friends, between Alan Alda and Ray Liotta, one of them plays a scumbag lawyer. The other plays a very heartfelt, genuine lawyer. And the fact that going into it, you know that both of them could be scumbags and play them very well. Both of them could be very, very nice and play them very well. So I think just the casting was really good. The execution was very good. I would absolutely recommend Marriage Story, as that is my number 8 movie of the year. And number 7 for me is Taika Waititi's Jojo Rabbit. This is a movie where a young boy, I forgot to look up his name before shooting this, so a young boy is basically indoctrinated to being a star pupil in a Nazi Hitler youth camp. Um, and the story about him and his family. Scarlett Johansson plays his mother. It's kind of a struggling family story. It's a satire story for sure, but with being a satire, there is a lot of very poignant scenes sprinkled in. I mean, yes, you have Rebel Wilson, who is sort of typecast lately as just being the comic relief in movies, and she does that very well. But you have a couple scenes, and there's one in particular where they're out in the town square and they see something, and you get reminded that, oh yeah, it's a movie about Nazi Germany, and different visuals that a normal person would see in that era. And so the fact that all of that is sprinkled in and works really well, Jojo Rabbit, I really liked, and that's my number 7 movie of the year. Number 6 for me is going into this movie. If you would have told me that, okay, you're going to see a movie that is directed by Clint Eastwood and has a supporting cast of Sam Rockwell and John Hamm and Olivia Wilde and Kathy Bates, but the lead actor is not no at all, and he has to carry this movie, I would be intrigued, and I would still go see it because of the supporting cast, because Clint Eastwood is more often than not a very good director. But Paul Walter Hauser makes Richard Jewell just that much more incredible, because you know he has to carry this movie around that supporting cast. And he really does. You are endeared to him. You just want him to come out of this on top. And for somebody that I was too young to know about the Atlanta Olympics bombing, and to I went into this movie not doing research of the story ahead of time, but throughout this movie, you start to see things that either the media does, that the government does, just that people do in this movie, and you start to question, okay, did that really happen? And you look, and a lot of it happened. A lot of it did happen, and just the really despicable things, especially that couple couple members of the U.S. government does to Richard Jewell, is very scary. Uh, and I know there's some controversy around the fact that Olivia Wilde's character may not have been as over the top as she actually was, but this story from start to finish, I did not want to blink because I did not want to miss anything. I I got home from the theater and immediately pre-ordered it. I cannot wait to own this movie and watch it again and again. It is just incredible. It is my number six movie of the year. Number five is a movie that when it had its first trailer, it looked weird, but I was interested and I really wanted it to be good. And as weird as the movie Ready or Not is, it is awesome. It is the story about a woman Samara Weaving, who marries into this very rich, very eccentric family, and on the wedding night, they play a game with the new member of the family, and they decide to play, or by the way they choose hide and seek. And what she is not aware of is that hide and seek is her hiding, and the family tries to find her and kill her. Uh, this movie was both funny and dramatic, like a lot of my movies are. Apparently, I like a good drama comedy or dramedy. Um, this the the supporting cast too. So Samara Weaving was great. Adam Brody killed it in every scene he was in. There's a character that's basically the grandmother of the family that is so over the top. She is just hilarious in every scene. Um, this movie and the ending. If you like this movie, the ending is really messed up, but I think it works. You come out of this theater basically, if you're like me, saying, "What on earth did I just watch?" Ready or Not, though, is an amazing experience to see as a movie. So that is my number four, or excuse me, my number five movie of the year. Number four is one that will not win any awards, probably. Is not a cinematic masterpiece. I just had a lot of fun, and it's Shazam. Zachary Levi was the perfect casting to play the adult version of Billy Batson. I know I said that previously, but a good superhero type movie is one that I'm always interested in, but is just really fun. Uh, it has a lot of heart. It has a lot of action. I think Shazam is just really fun. Um, it's both lighthearted, but really, I don't know. It just has a lot of heart, and I really like Shazam. I saw it a couple times in the theater. I owned it right away. I've seen it a couple times at home. It's it's a really fun movie, so that's why it's my number four of the year. My number three movie of the year is Ford v Ferrari. Christian Bale, he, it has Christian Bale, it has Matt Damon, it has Josh Lucas, who plays kind of this scumbag henchman for the Ford company. The only other thing that I could really think of Josh Lucas as being in was, I think he was in Sweet Home Alabama. And yes, I'm admitting seeing Sweet Home Alabama. Um, but Josh Lucas plays a really good, just just a jerk. He just plays an absolute jerk. Christian Bale is kind of a mechanic junkie, car junkie. Matt Damon plays a former driver who is not going to be driving anymore for reasons that are explained in the film. This is a very action packed movie that doesn't have a lot of fighting action. It's a lot of driving action, but the driving scenes, I mean, you see him driving through fog, you see him driving through rain, and you just get really nervous for something that could happen. Uh, because, we've all seen races, we've all seen horrific accidents that have happened during races. So just that part of the action is really gripping. I know I've said the word gripping a lot. It's just I when it comes to a good movie, it grips me. It really gets its teeth in me, and that's what Ford v Ferrari did. This is another one that I got home, pre-ordered it, can't wait to own it. Ford v Ferrari, my number three movie of the year. Before I get to my number two and my number one, unlike my other videos, I actually will leave the comment section open. I disabled all the other comment sections for a reason, just because I didn't care about comments. This is just something that I like to do. I like to talk about movies, and I knew friends and family wanted to see it. But at least those people in my life have been very vocal about wanting me to continue this, like doing normal, consistent reviews on movies that I see. But I will kind of leave it open to the public, I guess, to see if this is something that is worth to continue doing. So, just want to get that out of the way. My number two movie of the year is a culmination of, almost 24 movies. It's Avengers Endgame. It was a movie experience that I loved. Uh, it had every emotion that you could ever get out of somebody for a movie that you have to be invested for 22, 23 movies. It's I cried multiple times. I cheered in my head, not out loud, but cheered in my head a couple times. I laughed a lot. It was the perfect ending to the Avengers Endgame MCU Phase 3 saga. And so Kevin Feige, Marvel, they did a great job with wrapping everything up. I thought it was an excellent movie. But it will not surpass my favorite movie of the year, Joker. Number one for me is Joker. Joaquin Phoenix is that it's the best acting I have seen in a very, very long time. And as you guys can tell, I see a lot of movies. And there were times that the first time I went with one of my best friends, and we both caught ourselves just mouths open unintentionally numerous times, just marveling at the insane acting ability of Joaquin Phoenix. He deserves every single award possible for his portrayal of Joker. Uh, I really hope he does a sequel. I hope he just keeps with this character, at least for one more movie, because the world deserves to see him as Joker one more time. So there you have it. Those are my favorite movies of the year, and looks like I've kept this under 20 minutes. So again, thank you for indulging me in my little passion project here. I will leave the comments open. If you like what you see, let me know, and I'll think about keep doing it for next year. Either way, these have been my thoughts for the movies that have come out in 2019. I hope everybody has a wonderful 2020. See you later.